Hello again to this video clip series, My Journey to God in a Very Secularized World. I'm going over what I had added to the second meditation of Don Stefano Gobi when I had published it on the internet, to give an idea of what's going on in the church in that period of just before it was published, Amoris Laetitia. And here's that dating from 2011, we see Bishop Blaise Kupich banning adoration throughout the Diocese of Spokane, Washington, and implementing a complete and total ban on priests in the diocese from taking part in public pro-life activities. Bishop Kupich, the newly nominated Archbishop of Chicago, said Pope Francis, that's 2014, Pope Francis doesn't want culture warriors. He doesn't want ideologues. In a short video clip broadcasted often on EWTN TV, we see a man running fast toward a cliff while one hears the message, "This year America will give birth to 4 million children. 260 children will die from pneumonia, 1,500 will die from abuse, 1.3 million children will die by abortion." Then written at the end of the video clip, after the man stops just short of falling off the cliff, "Where is the human race headed?" We hear very often from the mouth of Pope Francis variation on the phrase, "You must not exclude anyone," he says. How has the magisterium of the Church always conveyed this phrase to the faithful? The magisterium of the Church has always done as St. Thomas summarizes it. He says, "Rarely affirm, seldom deny, always distinguish." Thus, we must always distinguish, in particular, the understanding and the application of the phrase, "You must not exclude anyone." What does that mean? Just about all the bishops promoted by Pope Francis in the last 2 to 3 years have interpreted this phrase that you must not exclude any Catholic from receiving Holy Communion, including the divorced and remarried, without an annulment, and thus with a possible valid first marriage, and those who are living in a homosexual lifestyle. But the Church has always remained faithful to the words of Christ and the laws of God, which are given to us for our true good by a God who loves each of us. Jesus said, "What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder." And he says, Jesus also says, "And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for unchastity and marries another commits adultery, and he who marries a divorced woman commits adultery." The Church has always been faithful to divine revelation that sex outside of marriage does great harm to those involved and to the whole body of Christ, the Church. The Church has always rightly taught that each person has the free will to exclude himself from the saving graces of God by not living what we as Catholics say in the act of contrition, "I firmly resolve, with the help of thy grace, to sin no more and to avoid the near occasion of sin." Sin according to God, explained by His Church, the magisterium of the Church, not according to the disguised egoism of relativism of each person or of the world. Since God is love, God respects our choice and will not force anyone to pass eternity in the presence of the absolute truth, who is God. As pointed out above, with the great lack of the presence of fathers of families who live their God-given vocations according to God, we now have several generations of people who have grown up without the fundamental formation and example from age 0 to 12 from such a good Christian father, who showed by his example that we cannot follow our feelings and sentiments in regard to God's laws, but we must pray to have the strength to follow the objective law as God gave us His laws for our true and long-lasting good. Without having acquired self-discipline from the example of our fathers, It is extremely easy to go along with the culture of relativism today and to justify just about any behavior according to our feelings, sentiments, and the people around us who do likewise. In this atmosphere of relativism all around us, and with very few voices from good Christian fathers or pastors to show us the true way to true happiness with the cross of Christ and much prayer, we automatically embrace the easy way of false love, false mercy, and misguided compassion under the bombardment of the main tool of Satan today, the television, and in the Catholic Church. By now, the great majority of Catholics brainwashed in subjectivism and relativism, those who proclaim with their true Christian example and their words the true teaching of Christ, of the Church, are more and more treated badly, even though the authentic teaching and example of Christ is what offers us true happiness and freedom. The true fathers and pastors of Christ are accused of excluding sinners, when in fact, these true followers of Christ love the sinner, but hate the sin, which is what does the most harm to us and to all of society. Thus, when we hear from the highest ranking church leaders say, "Who am I to judge?" without always distinguishing, there is a great damage done in confirming the very destructive atmosphere of relativism instead of warning the souls of the powerful and hidden poison of the wolf disguised as a lamb. If people are not used to distinguishing always, as St. Thomas says, according to the revealed truth of God, they do not understand the difference between true ecumenism and false ecumenism. True ecumenism, which is based on true Christian love, respects the beliefs of others. False ecumenism, which is not based on true Christian love, does not respect the belief of others and encourages each person or group to put aside that which the majority are not comfortable with, to arrive at reductionism to the lowest common denominator of truths and sources of grace, which is accepted by everyone. Thus, above all, the Catholics must get rid of the sacraments, the guidance of the magistrate of the Church, and the Mother of God. But these are our most powerful helps to discern God's will and to live God's holy will, exactly what the world and the Church need most today. It is no longer politically correct to say what we proclaim at baptism or during the liturgy of Easter Sunday. Do you reject Satan and all his works and all his empty promises? This would be interpreted today as bigotry, as if to exclude one's right to choose sin and to choose Satan. Why is it not considered bigotry today to not allow true Christians the right to choose to live and to proclaim the 10 Commandments, which are for our true good? What bigotry today is all reversed. With so many fatherless homes, children are used to mercy without any obligation to shape up, to man up, to change their lives after the example of a good father. Now these children are older, but have remained immature. Satan is now ready to push society and the Church over the cliff and approve at the highest levels, even in the Catholic Church, false love, false mercy, and misguided compassion, with no more obligation to live the saving 10 Commandments. Our Lady of Good Success at Quito, Ecuador, January 20, 1610, she warned us. She said, "Thus I make it known to you that from the end of the 19th century and shortly after the middle of the 20th century, the passions will erupt, and there will be a total corruption of morals. As for the sacrament of matrimony, which symbolizes the union of Christ with his Church, it will be attacked and deeply profaned. Freemasonry, which will then be in power, will enact iniquitous laws with the aim of doing away with this sacrament, making it easy for everyone to live in sin and encouraging procreation of illegitimate children born without the blessing of the Church. In this supreme moment of need for the Church, the one," she didn't say many, "the one who should speak will fall silent." dear brothers, you know, there's less prayer than ever before, more sin than ever before, even worse, indifference as if sin no longer exists. And so we have given much greater power to the father of lies, Satan. In particular, Satan has more power to disguise himself as an angel of light, to offer his very deadly, beautiful lies as if they were the truth. Thus, it is very important in these times of great confusion, when even the Catholic bishops are no longer in agreement about the fundamentals of our faith and morals, to not only pray much and to study the Catechism of the Catholic Church for adults, but to keep our eyes open so as to not fall into the beautiful lies of Satan presented as if they were the truth. That's one of the motives for this video clip series and my articles. May God bless you and Mary guide you.